Also on the first day of the legislative session in Missouri, a resolution to start the process of impeaching Missouri's Secretary of State. State Representative Will Jobe directed the House to initiate an investigation over Denny Hoskins' handling of a referendum petition on redistricting. According to the group People Not Politicians, the petition drive gathered more than 300,000 signatures. The petition would put the redrawn congressional map before voters in November. Representative Jobe claims Hoskins purposefully didn't count a third of the signatures. Hoskins countered that he's working within the law.
The signatures that were collected before October 14th were, they had been collected before I certified that language. And so they don't count. And we are preserving those and setting those aside, but we're not counting those unless we get an official court order that those have to be counted.
The issue of those signatures is currently being debated in a Cole County court case. The last time impeachment proceedings in Missouri against Governor Eric Greitens in 2018. He resigned before an impeachment vote could be taken. Now to our